What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. A while back I made a video talking about Pikmin 4 and how it's very far along in its development and should be coming any day now. And then years have passed since then and we haven't heard anything about Pikmin 4. Nintendo had, over the past few months, kind of shadow dropped that they're making a Pikmin 3 Deluxe version on the Nintendo Switch now, and it got people very excited that Nintendo hadn't forgotten about the Pikmin series and that there was a potential for Pikmin 4 to be coming down the road. After these sales numbers just came out from the UK, as far as at least physical copies are concerned, there looks to be a very bleak future for the Pikmin series. Pikmin 3 Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch sales numbers have dropped significantly from the Wii U. And that's saying something, because the Wii U, we all know, didn't really sell that well. So people who were buying the games, even if it was a large amount of the people who owned Wii U's, in the grand scheme, it's still not that many games that were being sold. With Pikmin 3 Deluxe coming on the Nintendo Switch, as of right now, in the first week of sales, physically at least, it is down 18.5% sales-wise. That's nearly a fifth less than what sold on the Wii U. According to GameIndustry.biz, they released an article talking about the soft opening for Watch Dogs Legion and Pikmin 3. This is all as far as physical sales are concerned, so keep that in mind throughout this, and with the whole Rona thing going on right now, that could have a significant effect on the amount of copies that are actually being sold digitally, not being counted in these sales charts. With that being said though, typically there's a direct correlation between how many digitals are sold compared to how many physicals, and the charts typically match up. As of the top 10 sales last week in gaming, Pikmin 3 Deluxe was a new entry, coming in at number 7 overall, being beat out by Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which is a compilation of 3 ROMs, Minecraft for the Switch. That's been out since the Switch came out, basically. Minecraft's been out for a very long time. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, another one that's been out since the launch of the Switch. Animal Crossing New Horizons, that continues to break sales records, came in at number 3. Watch Dogs Legion at number 2. And of course, FIFA 21 coming in at number 1. We're not even going to go into FIFA and how that somehow defies all odds and continues to sell like crazy every year. But right now, Pikmin 3 Deluxe coming in at number 7 with sales. Some people might look at that and say, hey, you know, it's in the top 10 of sales on its launch week, and it's a re-release of a game that's already been out before, so it wasn't expected to be that high up on the sales chart. Couple concerning things with that is, Super Mario 3D All-Stars already released a couple weeks ago, and that still beat out Pikmin 3 Deluxe. And Pikmin 3 Deluxe sales numbers are 18.5% less physically than what they were when it launched on the Wii U. And the Wii U had a much smaller install base. Significantly less people had the ability to buy it because they didn't have Wii U's, so the attachment rate was much higher. As of right now, I love the Pikmin series. As you can tell, I have them all. Big fan of them. This is extremely concerning for the future of the series. It kind of, in a weird way, if you saw the Scott the Woz talking about Chibi Robo, it reminds me that's kind of what Nintendo's doing with this Pikmin series. It is a fantastic game series, something that deserves new entries. It deserves the love and the cherishment of all gamers everywhere. And what do they do with it? They come out with a 2D side-scroller on the 3DS. Then they come out with a re-release of Pikmin 3 with deluxe features, a few extra levels in it, which is great. But it just feels like they're not willing to go that extra step and give the gamers what they want. An actual new entry, full-blown to the series, Pikmin 4. Like I said on the outset of this video, that I saw that this was something that has been talked about. Miyamoto was basically claiming that Pikmin 4 was basically done. And then we got nothing. We heard nothing for years. And some people said that Pikmin 4 actually ended up turning into the Pikmin side-scroller on the 3DS. I don't necessarily believe that, nor do I think that matters. It's not really relevant right now because Pikmin 4 is nowhere to be found, and Nintendo is just kicking this thing while it's down. And with lower sales numbers, it's going to encourage Nintendo to not move forward with this series. I didn't need to buy Pikmin 3. I was in Walmart the other day. I saw it. I was like, you know, I have it on the Wii U. Do I really need it on the Switch? I want to support the series. I do. I do want to be able to play it on the go. It was only $50 on the launch week at Walmart, so I was like, okay, I'll dive in. I'll grab it. And the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, you know, I really wish Nintendo made a Pikmin 4. This Pikmin 3, it's great. It's a really great game, and a lot of people missed out on it the first time around. But this feels like Nintendo taking the step of, okay, we know a lot of people didn't buy the Wii U. We know it wasn't the most popular console we've ever sold. But ultimately, if we're gonna come out and continue the Pikmin series, we need to start with Pikmin 3, the game that so many people missed out on, and nobody's buying it. That's telling Nintendo, okay, I guess there's not really an audience for this game anymore. Again, just like what happened with Chibi Robo from the GameCube, and they beat that thing into the ground with poor ports, poor advertising, poor marketing, not translating games in and bringing them over to the US, not doing all the things they should have done to give the series the best chance possible to succeed. And God, I hate to see this happen with one of my most favorite franchises out there in Pikmin. The fact that Pikmin 3 Deluxe got beat out by 3 old ROMs from other Nintendo systems, from the Mario 3D All-Stars, great games, I'm not knocking them, but they're older ROMs and you can get them in a lot of different places. Pikmin 3 was supposed to be a way for people to play this that missed out on the Wii U. And when people aren't buying it physically, like I said earlier, typically there's a direct correlation to the less sales physically, there's going to be less sales digitally for it. I mean, obviously digital sales are going to be higher, but still less overall because it's number 7 on the list. And if that's the case, that's basically gamers are telling Nintendo, we don't want to play Pikmin. We don't care about it. We'd rather play old ports of ROMs from Super Mario 3D All-Stars. That's what this is saying to me. Not to mention Minecraft, Mario Kart 8, and Animal Crossing New Horizons that continue to sell like nobody's business. I could only imagine where this goes from here. Pikmin 3, most likely, is not going to pick up speed as time goes on. It's a re-release, a port of a Wii U game, and if people aren't buying it on launch week, unless there are significant sales to it, which, let's be honest, it's a Nintendo game. Nintendo doesn't do that with their games, so it's not going to be that affordable to people that are looking to pick it up on the cheap in the next coming weeks. It's going to fall off the top 10 sales, and Nintendo's going to say, hey, you know what? We tried. You guys said you wanted Pikmin. We gave you Pikmin. No one bought it. We're moving on to another series. Hopefully they don't do that with this. I'm worried because that's kind of what it feels like they've done with the whole Kid Icarus series. It kind of, to an extent, feels like what they've done with Metroid as well. Yeah, I know Metroid Prime 4 is coming. Eventually. I hope. But the problem is, if they could just pump out ports of Mario over and over again, or another Animal Crossing, or a game like, I'm trying to think of other games Nintendo has come out with that are just like generic games that just sell insane amounts over and over again. Mario Kart obviously is another one. That it almost forces Nintendo's hand to just keep going back and not being creative and original and making new entries to series. And maybe there's a greater issue with all of this. Maybe that's what I'm getting at with this video, is it's concerning if people aren't buying these ports of older games. Ironically, it might hurt the chances of unique original IPs going forward, because it will just show these game companies that they can just rely heavily on the other games that just continue to sell all the time, and the ones that don't, they're not going to make new entries in the series for. Hope I'm wrong, but as far as business is concerned, that's the logical direction to go. Hopefully they are still working on it. I mean, they got Olimar in Smash Brothers. They got Pikmin 3 just came out for the Nintendo Switch, so Nintendo hasn't forgotten about the series like they have with so many of their others, but this is extremely concerning for the future of the franchise, and what Nintendo ultimately ends up doing may be more of a monetary decision instead of a gamer decision, and I truly hope it doesn't come to that. Anyways, I'm going to leave it right there. If you guys have not played Pikmin 3, be sure to pick it up. It is a fantastic experience. But until we actually get word of a Pikmin 4, this is kind of going to be touch and go for a while. It could be years until we hear anything about it, if it even happens in the first place. I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing.